been reading a lot of Romeo and Juliet recently, so how can you connect the events of the story to teen turmoil today?
Well, I've been reading a lot of drug articles, and Juliet's dependency on Romeo matches that of a lot of drug addicts.
Yeah, the Alcohol and Drug Foundation concludes that drugs result in a cycle of dependence. And you think we could see this in Romeo and Juliet?
Yeah, I can definitely see this. When Romeo and Juliet meet for the first time, it's like a drug user using drugs for the first time. They're reluctant to try it, and then after they try it, they feel like they're on top of the world with dopamine rushes. But then you can see it continues to drop, so it creates a cycle of them constantly wanting to be next to each other, just like a drug addict with drugs, constantly wanting to reuse and use it to get the same effects.
Yeah, and we can see this early in the play because when Juliet confesses her love for Romeo in her soliloquy at the balcony, she admits that she could have been more strange or less open to love.
Yeah, a lot of previous drug addicts also mentioned that they should have been a lot more cautious or on alert when they were around drugs and not just open about it.
And ready to try them. Yeah.
It builds a cycle.
Exactly.
Yeah. And we can even see how dependent Juliet is in Romeo, in the end of the book. How does her cycle of dependency develop at the end of the play?
I definitely see this in a quote I found. She would long to die if friars speak not of remedy. This kind of shows that she constantly, like a drug user, she needs more of Romeo every day to meet the same effects of their validation of love or dopamine. And her dependence is so high that she can't even she hates being separated.
Yeah, and in addition of her dopamine coming from Romeo being so high, it can only come from Romeo. Because when she says, "Is Romeo slaughtered and is Tybalt dead, my dear loved cousin and my dearer lord," she says she holds Romeo at a status higher than Tybalt, which really shows how she can only get joy from Romeo and not Tybalt. Is this drug users?
Yeah, exactly. It says here from the National Institute of Drug Abuse that drugs create an artificial dopamine cycle which is higher than any natural occurrence, which makes drug users more likely to take them for that extra hit.
Now, I can also connect this to this quote. "I will not marry yet, and I swear it shall be Romeo." I feel like Paris is kind of the happiness that she should have, as it's safe, and it's it will prevent any future conflict. But instead, she insists on choosing Romeo or the drug. And Romeo is the dangerous option, drugs are to the human body. And Paris is more safe. And it's more natural happiness than Romeo.
So Paris is the more natural source of dopamine that she's supposed to get, right?
Yeah,
and Romeo's the drug. And Romeo's the only drug that Juliet can have. These dopamine cravings are really similar. Only Romeo can satisfy Juliet's needs the same way only drugs can make drug addicts happy. And this satisfaction can't come from other sources. Paris doesn't meet the same status as Romeo, just as natural dopamine doesn't meet the same effect as artificial dopamine from drugs.
Yeah, I think that's a good discussion we had, and I think that wraps up all the main points.
Yep.
Let's go! Finally!
That was